Hey guys, what's up? My name is Hector Meireles. I have a sight disability. I have only 35% of my sight. And I play video games since I was 3. And today I'm here to revive an idea that I used to make in my other channel, Mente Fragmentada, which is reviewing accessibility resources of games that I play. And maybe you've noticed that this is a Brazilian channel, but I decided to do this kind of video both in English and in Portuguese because this is not some kind of content that you find a lot out there. So if there is someone who speaks English and needs help, needs an opinion if they should buy a game or not, if the game is going to attend their needs or not, I hope this video can help you. And of course, making them both in English and in Portuguese, making the same video in the two languages, makes it more easier to get to the companies that make the games, and hope to improve accessibility in games with our feedback, of course. So today I'm here to review Stellar Blade's resources, and I'm a little bit sad, actually. You're going to understand it in the end of the video. But anyway, let's go. Stellar Blade is a game released in April of this year. It was released by Shift Up Studios. Remembering guys, I'm gonna try to focus here on accessibility, not exactly on story, on gameplay. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit, but focusing on accessibility. And no spoilers, of course. If I need for some reason to give a spoiler, I'm going to alert you first. But I don't think I will. Well, it is a game that mixes some features of hack and slash, like Devil May Cry, also like Nier Automata, that, by the way, is a huge inspiration for Stellar Blade. It mixes a little bit of Souls-like features too. It is that kind of game that have some parts that are open and some closed scenarios, like it's not a real open world, you know? And it's a futuristic game where you play as Eve fighting against the Naytiba, that are a race that have taken over the world, and Eve, together with her companions, are trying to take the world back for humanity. So there is this whole project, this mission to do that, and she's one of the angels that will make it happen. The story involves a lot of religion, a lot of technology, and it's an interesting story. The characters are nice. The game also has an interesting gameplay, actually a pretty cool gameplay, with a lot of features, interesting combat, with a lot of customization, which by the way is the best part. You have a lot of skins for Eve, you have glasses, you have all kinds of accessories, you can change her hair, and the idea of collecting all these things, these cosmetic things, in Stellar Blade, they make it in a way that it's truly fun. You have, I guess, 86 different nanosuits for you to find, and they are really different one from the other, so it's really fun. But anyway, the game itself, it's good, it's fun, it's a game that I really like. I really love Eve. She has everything that I love in a female character. She's powerful, she's pretty, she's strong, she has an interesting personality. She's quite serious actually, but I like that. She is a crush of mine already. Anyway, the game is good, but when we talk about accessibility, we will have some problems. A lot of problems actually. The game brings some accessibility resources, and in fact, Stellar Blade is that kind of game that kind of tricks you. I'm gonna explain that. When you have sight problem like me, sometimes there are games that you look to them and you say, oh, this game I will be able to play, because it looks like other games that I've played before, that I know that I can do it. Because of course, there are types of games that I'm unable to play. For example, Call of Duty, Battlefield, I'm simply unable to play that kind of game. My disability doesn't allow me to. So Stellar Blade is that kind of game that I say, okay, it's like Devil May Cry. I love Devil May Cry. It has some Souls-like features, but it has an easy mode, so I'm gonna be able to do it. But when you get to the game, it tricks you because you realize that, oh my god, it is a lot inaccessible in many ways. And in fact, if it weren't for the accessibility resources, I literally wouldn't be able to play. So they really help in this point. They really make the experience possible. At least for people with sight limitations like mine. If you are completely blind, this game is not for you, and it's not even that kind of game that you can play some parts with the help of someone who is able to see, because the combat system of this game is pretty visual. It's based on perfect dodge, perfect block, this kind of thing, parry, you know. So for people that are completely blind, these resources don't help you to play the game. Not even with someone who sees properly. If you are going to play with the help of someone who has a normal sight, who can see normally, you are going only to watch the game, because there are games like Devil May Cry, like God of War, that if you are playing with someone who has a normal sight and you are completely blind, there are some parts of the game that you can play. You can play in the combat, you can even walk through some places, but in this game, it's not the case. You would only watch as your friend, your daughter, your girlfriend, the person that is with you plays. The story is good, so you're going to enjoy the story, but you will not be able to play the game. But anyway, let's talk about the accessibility features themselves. I guess I'm using accessibility resources as word during the video. It's features. It's because I'm confusing with the Portuguese word. But anyway, sorry. Let's talk about the accessibility features themselves. So, we have some accessibility features that work pretty well, like for example, the quick time events auto win, that of course are really helpful for someone with sight limitations. The commands of the fishing minigame. I played the fishing game in the beginning without the accessibility feature, just to see how it was. It was pretty difficult, but when I turned it on, the accessibility feature for the fishing minigame, it works pretty well. It works quite well, in fact. And I loved fishing in the game. I spent a lot of time fishing. Now, when you talk about the filter feature, you know, that one that makes all the colors. I don't know the name of it in English, sorry, I play it in Portuguese. This one that you're seeing on the screen right now, it helps a lot for people like me, but there is a problem with this filter. In the games that I played before that use this feature, like God of War Ragnarok and The Last of Us Part 2, you can turn it on and off in the DualShock or in the DualSense by sliding your finger in the touchpad. You can do it. And in Stellar Blade, you need to enter in options mode to turn it on, and you need to enter in options mode to turn it off again. And that's a problem, because this filter, although it helps you to see what you need to see, it compromises your cinematic experience. So you don't want it, turn it on all the time. You don't want it, turn it on during the cutscenes. So it's something that you turn it on, at least I do it like this. I turn it on, see what I need to see, and then I turn it off. So I can have the cinematic experience during the combats, during the cutscenes, and all those kind of things. So I could easily say that in my 127 hours of gameplay, I spent at least 6 hours going to options to turn this filter on, going to options again to turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And this was something that it could be easily solved, because you have, like, if you slide your finger up in the touchpad, you go to the map. If you slide it down, you go to the missions menu. Why not sliding to the left, activating this filter? I don't know, like in God of War, for example. This is something that I missed a lot. Another thing that I missed, talking about the map, is the map in the whole game. Because the map is good. The map helps you a lot to situate yourself in the game, especially for people like me. And the linear segments, they don't have a map. But this game is not like old school linear segments where you were in a closed corridor and you had only 2 or 3 ways to go. There were no ways for you to get lost. In this game, the linear segments, they are huge, without a map, and it's really difficult for me to find myself in these places. I spend a lot more time than I would if we had the map in the whole game. So the map being absent in some parts of the game makes me truly get lost, you know? Because you don't have, like in The Last of Us Part 2, accessibility feature that you activate that shows you the way, the compass, I guess it was the name. You don't have that on Stellar Blade. So it's really difficult. Remembering I played it in easy mode, there are some accessibility features, by the way, that only exist on easy mode. For example, the accessibility that makes it easier for you to perfect dodge or perfect block. These, I wouldn't be able to do it on normal difficulty because my eyes are not fast enough. But on easy mode, there is the slow motion, so I'm able to do it. And these resources, by the way, they help you a lot. It's a shame that they only exist on easy mode. And now we get to the problem of Stellar Blade that made me sad. In the final segments of the game, for some reason, you start to get a lot of insta-kill segments. And yes, you have them during the game, and it's pretty difficult, but nothing to worry about. But in the last segments, the last part of the story, you have that tube that you have to enter. There are those of this before in the game, there were also a problem to me, but the one in the desert, at least in the Great Desert, it doesn't give you a lot of damage. You have this tube where you have to slide on, and it's absolutely impossible for me to see the obstacles because it's too quick, it's too fast. And this tube, different from the one in the Great Desert, this one that is close to the end, the obstacles can kill you, even in easy mode. So a segment that would take for someone about 2 minutes to go through, I went through in about 40 minutes or 1 hour, if I'm not mistaken. And also there are another segments where everything is falling apart and you have an specific route to follow, and if you don't, you fail. And you have to think and see it quickly, which I can't. These segments were also difficult, like 20 or 30 minutes to pass on through this, but I did it. With help of videos in the internet, of course, but I did it. This segment, by the way, it would be really easy to solve it because it could have an accessibility feature where if you activate it, you could only press circle or some other button, I don't know, that Eve would make the route automatically because the route is scripted. So you could have an accessibility feature where only by pressing a button, Eve would make the route by herself. And there is also a segment on space, like you need to aim a big cannon in the eyes of a monster, and it's really difficult to see these eyes because they are at the same color of the monster, and the filter that makes things glow, it doesn't help. So this thing, it would be so easy to solve. These eyes could be, I don't know, purple or something that shines that you can see from afar, considering that they are really small. It would be easy to solve, but anyway, this part I was able to go through with it. And then comes the part where I got sad. And then, after all these insta-kill segments that you have in the ending, I passed on, I moved to the ending of the game, and I got to one boss that I can go through in the ending of the game. And that's the part that made me sad, because after 127 hours of gameplay, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish Stellar Blade, because there is a boss. It's not the final boss, but there is a boss that has an insta-kill move in which you need to aim at 3 different things 3 different magic powers, yellow powers, and shoot them in order to disable this move. But the auto aim that you have as an accessibility feature that works well in the rest of the game, it doesn't work in this because it aims at the boss. And you need to disable this feature in order to be able to try to aim in the things, but you have only 10 seconds and I'm simply incapable of doing it. And this insta-kill move, the boss uses it twice, so not even the resurrection bomb it works, because I will resurrect, but I will die in the end of the battle anyway. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go through with it. And it's like Stellar Blade. It's a game that in many segments that were not exactly accessible, I got angry. But I knew that I could do it. I could do it. It would take me time, it would make me angry, but I could do it. In this boss, I got sad because I looked at it and I said, oh my god, I got here and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish the game. And yes, I hate when people make reviews without finishing a game, because I think that the least you need to do in order to have property to talk about the game is finishing it. But well, as this is a review about the accessibility features and because of them I wasn't able to finish, I guess it's okay to make this review. If I'm able to finish the game, I'm gonna keep trying, and if I get lucky and finish the game, I'll update you, but for now I couldn't. So I don't know if I recommend the game for you or not. If you don't have any sight disability, certainly play the game. It's awesome. But if you have a sight disability like mine, you might not be able to finish the game. And it's really sad because I want to finish the game. Well, that's it. This is my review. I know my English is kind of rusty. I apologize if for some of you it sucked to see me here, but anyway. Well, I don't know, guys. If you could or want to send this video to Sony or to Shift Up, I don't know, maybe they'll fix this, or maybe, I don't know, future games. But I'm sad, anyway. Thanks for watching, guys.